What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. And a lot of the time in like my squads and stuff, I'm only going to be telling you guys what some of the best cards are to use. And in this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and this is a video that I've actually looked it up. I don't think there's anyone that has made a video similar to this, and I think that as much as it's important to give people tips on the best players to buy, I also think it's important to go over a bunch of players that I genuinely believe that are just absolutely worthless in this game. And not only that, can be a massive negative on your team, as well as seeing a lot of people use these players. So these aren't going to be like some ruby cards, some sapphire cards. These obviously they're not going to be able to compete at the top level. And I'm warning you guys right now, some of your favorite players are going to be on this list. And I'm going to explain to you guys why at the top level, if you guys want to win consistently, these cards are not great. So the first of these cards is one that, in my opinion, like, I just absolutely just abuse this guy anytime he's on the floor. But one of the best players in the world swears by this card, and I'm going to actually take him off the list and replace him with somebody. And that card, depending on if you know how to use them or not, there's a few players that are good if you know how to use them, and if you play to their strengths, and bad otherwise. I think that a lot of these guys, their strengths aren't good enough to help the fact that they're just kind of bad at certain things. But James Harden is so good in offense and his defensive stats are actually not that bad. So if you do control him, if you do use him, if you do kind of put him on the other team's worst offensive player, sometimes you are going to be okay. And another player that is a little bit like that, but in the opposite way, is Giannis. If you have you really need Giannis' release down. Without quick draw, you really need that release down, because if you don't have that down, he is going to be off-ball bait. But at the same time, he is really, really good at guarding like all 5 positions at the same time. I don't think he's quite good enough to use the top level, but again, he's not that expensive, so I'm not going to put him in the list. But the player that I'm going to put on the list is this guy here as the first player. It is Donovan Mitchell. And I consistently see people using Donovan Mitchell without Levine. Using Donovan Mitchell on a squad where Donovan Mitchell costs more than every other player combined. That is a common thing. This card is terrible. He's got okay lateral quickness. He's a 6'3" point guard. Problem with this card right here is he's got no clamps, so he can't really defend anybody. And anyone who's asking why I always make such a big deal of the clamps badge, is if you don't have clamps and you play the 1 through 3, it's not that you're going to be a little bit worse on defense. Anyone without clamps, unless they're named Giannis, literally can't play defense. It's not like it's a slight disadvantage. Having like silver or bronze clamps is a slight disadvantage over gold clamps. But if you've got no clamps, you hold the R2 button, run at the hip, and you're buying him every single time. Also, he has got no quick first step or no range extender. So of the big badge, of the best badges in the game, you have to assume at this stage every card is quick draw. Quick draw is needed, so there's no point even talking about that badge anymore. He does not have the 3 needed badges. If you do not have quick first step, if you don't have range extender and clamps, they're 2 badges you 100% need to be in any way comp level. And if you're a guard, quick first step is needed, and he has none of them even gold. None of them at all. So Donovan Mitchell is a really, really weak card, and I would advise you guys to stay away as much as possible. Next up, we have got Magic Johnson. And again, I'm pretty sure, is it Looker's Shot? One of the best players in the world swears by this card. But I have never seen someone use this card effectively. Magic Johnson, I get it, is a 6'9" post player or point guard with a good post hook. He can dominate against point guards inside, but more and more now we're getting big point guards, and you can switch up matchups. And it's gotten to the stage where I've seen teams just running with their worst defender on Magic Johnson. Like, he's got not good lateral quickness. It is auto blow-bys as well with no clamps. He's got no quick draw. He's got no quick first step. Sure, it's great that he's got dimer and floor general, but if you guys are looking at players that should be up there with the best guys in the game, especially position locks, people would have thought a 6'9" Magic. But again, you just sprint by him. He's also not much of a threat in offense, and there's a lot of really good cheap players with Hall of Fame dimer. So he's definitely not it in terms of looking for good cards. I'm sorry, this card sucks. I've seen another one just like Donovan Mitchell. At one stage, I think I actually picked up a Russell for like 65k and sold him for 120. This card is terrible. Sure, he's a 6'5" player and play point guard. He has got 73 lateral quickness. 79 speed and acceleration, speed of ball. 45 driving dunk. Yeah, sure, he's got range extender. Sure, he's got quick first step. He's the worst defensive point guard in the game, in my opinion. Well, like defensive point guard, if you're including like, well, usable defense point guard or defense point guard that people use. He can't, release isn't great. Not the best shooter. Can't dunk. Can't go by anybody. He's too slow. Can't guard anybody. Anyone who used this card, trust me, he is terrible. And then we got a bunch of guys that can't play defense. And now here's a guy that can't play offense. It is Gary Payton. So, on paper, Gary Payton should be one of the best point guards in the game. Hall of Fame dimer. Hall of Fame quick first step. Basically all the defensive badges Hall of Fame. And, not gonna lie, a really good defender. A 6'4" point guard. But, he is, without question, the worst pink diamond offensive player I have ever used. His animations are terrible and his jump shot is broken. His jump shot is like, he's got quick draw, but his jump shot is more broken than TNA Matt Hardy. Like, genuinely. His stats are unbelievable. This card should be incredible. I had this guy when I was grinding up for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I took him out of my squad. Like, obviously, I think Big O's better, but I can't remember who I was using. I was using someone really, really weak instead of him at the point guard position. I'm pretty sure I was using like a Ruby or something. No, Lucius Allen. I used Lucius Allen over Gary Payton because I just felt that Lucius Allen did more for me. His card should be so good. And it's one of those ones when I play against him, it's not even like he does the best job defensively. He seems to get blown by way more than he should. And whenever I play against him, I just put my worst defender on Gary Payton, or I put Giannis on him and run Rover. Like, he's honestly one of the most baited players in the game, and one of the weakest offensive players that people still use in this game. Then we've got a very controversial one. It's Serge Ibaka. Even when Serge Ibaka is up at Opal, it takes so long to get it, but like, the stats aren't great. You've basically got an average 3-point shooter with a not great release, a decent dunker, shot block of 98 is really good, but I don't know what it is about this card. He just doesn't feel like he does much. Like, he doesn't have the best post game. He's not the fastest. Like, honestly, I know, like, stat badges wise, he's quite good. But, like, no quick draw. He's got steady shooter. And if you guys don't know, steady shooter is basically the worst badge in the history of 2K. Basically, steady shooter, unless you've got like a 99 rated 3 or a money release, it's terrible. Steady shooter means you will not hit open whites. And with a not great release, he is going to shoot a lot of open whites. He's quite slow with the ball, and I don't know. I just think even using someone like a Jaren Jackson Jr. is a lot better than using him. Even though obviously he's got more strength, he should be better. I'm just not a fan of this Serge Ibaka card. But of all these players, as much as I don't like Serge Ibaka and I just feel like he is a liability, this one, Serge Ibaka, and the next card are two cards you could definitely argue a little bit are usable. And Allen Iverson is one card that a lot of people swear by. I don't like this card at all. Like, yeah, great, he's got Hall of Fame badges. He's a 6-foot tall point guard with no range extender. And you might be saying, oh yeah, he's got quick first step, he's got clamps, but like, this guy right here is Allen Iverson with a slightly lower dunk, but Hall of Fame range extender. Like, I would take Jason Terry in a heartbeat. I would take Kyle Lowry in a heartbeat over Iverson. Especially, I genuinely, as crazy as it seems, I've seen people run Iverson at the 2. At the 2. A 6-foot tall player. Yeah, sure, he's got good badges, but height is such a big thing in this game. And that was one thing, one reason why the likes of Dante Exum and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are so good, why Larry Bird's been so effective, the 3, why Odom is so good. His height is still, it's not as much of a factor as in previous years, but height is still a big factor, and Iverson being 6 foot tall, while he's definitely better than he has been in previous years, I still don't think he's worth using. I still think he's usable. There are probably a couple of these guys are usable, but they're really expensive and they're not worth using because there's much better alternatives. This guy right here is terrible. And I'm sorry for anyone who's really swears by this card, because he was a tough grind to get. Like, again, a big reason why a lot of people swear by this card is because of how difficult 12-0 is. Like, I know there are people that can do it every single time, but in general, going 12-0 is a really difficult thing. Winning 12 games in a row of anything is difficult. And it's kind of one of those things where a lot of people thought, oh yeah, sweet, the grind is over, we've got this great card. And stats-wise, you might be thinking, okay, he's all right. Intangible 70, 96 overall. It's probably 98 overall in general. But like, that's some good badges. He's got quick first step. The problem is he's got no range extender. He's got no clamps, which are the two most important badges. Not only that, he's got a really, really bad release. I'm sorry, like some people swear by that release. It's the same release as Dominique, I think, but it's really, really bad. While, yeah, sure, he's like, if you're playing against an absolute scrub who can't play the game, he's usable. But if you're coming up against anyone with any moderate level of skill, he's going to get destroyed. Sean Kemp is another player that I find very, very weak. And I've just realized that I've missed out on another player that I definitely don't think you guys should use. But Sean Kemp is a not particularly fast power forward who can't shoot the ball particularly well. He's like a 10 times worse version of Blake Griffin. He's like a worse version of Aaron Gordon with 9 gold badges. 9 gold badges. He is a worse version. A worse version of Ruby Aaron Gordon. And yet still people use this card. Still, people to this day use this card because this is the grind for domination. Yeah, sure, I get it. Some people are kind of almost like there's a sentimental value to this card because of how much of a grind he was. Doesn't mean the card is good. And another player with the first name Sean that I might have accidentally skipped over that you shouldn't use is Sean Marion. Sean Marion. Yeah, you're looking at his stats, you're thinking, okay, apart from ball control, he actually does everything kind of well. He's a really, really undersized power forward at 6'7". And not only that, is he's got, basically he's supposed to be this big defensive card. He's got no clamps. He's got no clamps, lads. He's got no clamps. So you're looking at a guy that's too small really to play the power forward position. You're looking at a guy who doesn't really move fast enough to play at the small forward position. And you're looking at a guy who can't really dribble the ball or defend anybody. So yeah, looks good stats wise. Badges are just, yeah, just not. It's not worth it. Like, yeah, like he's got good stats and everything except his playmaking, but it's not a great card. Next up, we've got a guy that in previous years would have been a beast. We have got Hall of Fame range extender Peja Stojakovic. Got no finishing badges, got no playmaking badges, got no defense badges, got no rebounding badges, got no personality badges. You got Hall of Fame range extender, Hall of Fame steady shooter, which isn't a great badge, catch and shoot, deadeye. The problem with Peja is whatever, like Peja has had a money release in previous years. His release this year is broken. Like again, it is broken. It is not quite broken Matt Hardy level of broken, like Gary Payton's, but it's pretty bad. He is also slow, can't play defense, can't go to the basket in any way. All he can do is stand there and shoot. And if you want someone to stand there and shoot, like there are tens of cards that do that better than him because of release. Hey, just get yourself like, what, I can't even think of his name. Jordan McRae, is it? The guy who plays for the Wizards? He's better than this Peja Stojakovic. Like, there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, why you should ever get Peja. Like, I know he's only like 30k for a pink diamond range extender, but that's 30k too much. This is one of the worst cards in the game that I actually still see people use. No quick draw, broken release. Yeah, sure he can dunk, but he can't speed boost. He's also got no quick first step. He's got no any shooting badges really that are worth anything. No even catch and shoot. This card's terrible. Like, I know they genuinely nerfed him because the opal hadn't got quick draw at this stage, but and this card is, imagine Clyde Drexler, but 10 times worse. And then you've got this card here. This card is terrible. Next up, we have got Steph Curry. Sure, Steph Curry, a 97 3 ball is really good. His release is decent. Speed isn't great. Defense is horrendous. Like, he cannot guard anyone. Like, sure, he's got all these, like, great shooting badges. But, like, let's just compare him here to Jason Terry. So, Jason Terry has got basically all the same shooting badges as well. The Jet has got clamps. The Jet is less than half the price of Steph Curry as well. The Jet has got 2 more Hall of Fame badges and also over 100 extra stats. Is way better on defense and is way faster, way more athletic than Steph Curry, and is just twice good. When there's an alternative that is so much better and so much cheaper, I can never suggest to use a Steph Curry. Then we have got Luka Doncic, a 6'7" point guard who a lot of people like genuinely like because he's a 6'7" point guard, and he's effective on offense for that reason. There is one scenario where it is you can use Luka Doncic and get away with it. And that scenario is if your opponent is using someone like a Pascal Siakam at power forward. Or, I don't know, like, no one's going to be using Draymond realistically at this stage. But if they're using, like, a just defensive-minded power forward, then you're fine. Or they're using a spot-up shooter. Like, if they're running with a... I'm trying to think. Not even Hito. Hito will burn him. If they're running with, like, a Klay Thompson or something, you can always put Luka on a shooter. But anyone with quick first step, it is literally hold the turbo button and go by Luka every single time. Like... my opinion, I think he's kind of on the same level as James Harden, but I think Harden's a little bit better on offense. Doncic, sure, he's got some good badges. He's going to be a decent card, especially at the point guard position. But 100%, he's probably better off the ball, and there's way better small forwards in the game than him. The novelty of him being a 6'7" point guard is kind of gone when there's a lot of just better players and better big point guards to use than him. And next up, we've got a guy that, again, a lot of people swear by, and it's Carmelo Anthony. Melo's stats look good, but again, he cannot play defense. Ironically enough, I'm pretty sure he's got like 40 intangibles, which means he's like probably close to hitting the opal. He was one of those many, like, they gave out 94 overall cards to like Luka, Paul George, LeBron, and KD in a couple of weeks, and Melo, like all these like pretty much 94 overall prime cards that were all like lower, well, not quite top versions of current players. Got like gold range extender, gold city shooter. Problem is no quick first step, no defense, and yeah, like sure he can shoot the ball. That's really all Melo can do, and that's kind of an unfortunate thing, is that all he can really do is shoot the three ball. Not an effective card, and so bad on defense that he's almost unusable. Then we have got a guy right here who, like, I've come up against this guy like 4 times in the last day. Kuzma is apparently like 80k. This card, like, has the defense 61 interior, 67 perimeter defense. He has the defense of like a ruby. So not a ruby. He has a defense of like a bronze. Maybe a bad silver. And he had worse defense than Ryan Anderson Emerald. Like, that card can barely move. Like, yeah, sure, he's got a decent driving dunk. He's got no post game. He's got no defense. All he can do is spot. He can't dribble the ball that well. All he can do is spot up and shoot. And he's 6'9". Like, how? Like, how do people think this is a good card? He can only spot up and shoot at 6'9". He's 100k. Like, he brings nothing. He brings nothing. Like, there are genuinely sapphire cards that can do more on the court than Kyle Kuzma. There are 100% ruby cards better than Kyle Kuzma. And obviously there's amethyst cards way better. There are 100% ruby cards better. There are probably sapphire cards. He does one thing and one thing only, and it's catch and shoot. Like, he can't dribble the ball. He can't go by anybody. He can't play in the post, and he's one of the worst defenders in the game. There are literally sapphires better than this guy at the power forward position, or even at the small forward position. He can't, like, literally, if he's at the power forward, all you have to do is just post him up, back him down, bring him under the basket to score every single time. Like, he's not even got good strength. But anyway, yeah. That's the video. Of all these cards, please do not use Kuzma. He is, like, he's just, one, he's not even a good offensive player, and 2, he's one of the worst players being exposed on defense I've ever seen. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.